I've arranged for our power to get temporarily disconnected in a couple days. Hey guys, welcome to Wild Hope Homestead. The ground's already pretty saturated and we've got another heavy downpour, so everything's filling up with water. There are thunderstorms as well, so tomorrow's supposed to be fine, and then there's more rain later in the week, so things are going to get very soggy, but hopefully we don't get too much more today. The wheelbarrow's getting pretty full. Herb garden is getting saturated, which is, well, at least the herbs that I divided and replanted are getting watered in, but maybe I shouldn't have sowed carrots before this. We've got the two miners who shelter up there above the garage. Whenever we get heavy rain, there are two miners who go up there. Just two. Little soggy chickens. The biggest problem is the road getting covered with water and coming up, well, pooling around the property and coming up to the property if it gets too heavy. It's not covering the road yet, so that's good. The gutters have all been overflowing, and we've got our pond back again. Despite the fact that I have been filling it in with various things, it's still a water collection spot. Hey guys, welcome to Wild Hope Homestead. It's a beautiful day today, a good day to get some more water blasting done. We're well into spring cleaning at the moment. Last year I started doing water blasting in the winter, but we've had some other things to do, other stuff to deal with, so I suddenly realised we're getting heaps of rain and the tank was full. We better start doing some water blasting, because in summer we don't usually get enough rain to be able to do that, being on tank water out here. So while we've had a lot of rain that filled up our tanks and water pouring off the gutters, and there's more rain, there's a bunch of rain coming next week, so I'm trying to get some water blasting done while I can. I borrowed the water blaster from my parents. So far I've done the front fence and gate and a few bits of the house and the trailer I start walking back to the deck and then I see more and more things to do. What I really want to do is the front of the house up by the gables and the roof. Trouble is there are overhead power lines up there, and it's actually lichen on the, I don't know what you call it, the cover socket things where the power lines connect to the house. So I suddenly thought I better check if it's actually okay to spray water around power lines, and it's not. So I've arranged for our power to get temporarily disconnected in a couple days so that I could get the water blasting done. Trouble was, I realised after that in order to use the water blaster, I need the power because it's an electric one. I have to plug it in, and water, which doesn't work when we don't have electricity because the pump needs power to pump the water out of our tank. So it's highlighting the need for having a range of things that use different kinds of power. If we had a petrol powered water blaster, I don't know if you can get battery powered ones, but and if we had some kind of battery powered pump that we could use to get water out, then I maybe could use water blaster. But it looks like I'm going to be just trying to use the water brush without water coming out of the hose. I'll just have to use the ladder and dip our extendable water brush into buckets or the wheelbarrow with water, which I've filled up before the power goes out, and see how we go. Yep. Oh, Steve was laughing at me. He's like, are you prepared to be without power? I was like, I haven't quite finished my little emergency preparedness spree, but I'll be alright for just a few hours as long as I've got water. I just need to plan what I'll be having for lunch and things like that beforehand, or make sure it's something that I can do on the stove if I need to heat it. Anyway, what else have we been up to? Angus has been helping clean the windows on the outside, which is good, in exchange for some payment, which he's quite excited about, and that helps save us a job. And I've been weeding and planting a little bit of the garden out here. This little garden which houses our Cox's orange pippin apple tree outside the lounge window was full of grass weeds. Still had some of my sedges in there, but they were getting swamped by weeds, so Scarlett and Angus a bit helped me get the weeds out, and then we have masses of this is Carex comans, which is a native bronze sedge or grass. We have heaps of these in the chicken pen, so I divided up some of what were left in here, and then I actually split just one plant from the chicken pen into 10, I think, about 10 of these. So, yeah, they go a long way. Some of the leaves will die back a bit, but that was another thing I wanted to get done while we've got plenty of rain, because that really helps them settle in. If I leave it till summer, it's a bit hard to keep them going well and looking nice after they've been ripped apart from each other, divided. So that's looking a lot nicer, which is good. We definitely need to water blast around here. Yep. I butchered another 2 hens on the weekend. We've been getting so many eggs, and I have been giving them away, but I realised that 12, well, we still had 13, yeah. We still had 13 hens plus 1 rooster, and I realised that was more than what we need for our family's egg consumption. So having a tower of eggs and having to try and find places to put them, despite giving some away, was getting old. Also, I was becoming increasingly annoyed with the feisty broody hen, who was broody at the time, just because all the others when they go broody are so gentle and mild. I just lift them out of the nest box and no pecking or anything. But if you hit this, if you came across this other one without realising, you'd get pecked and bleeding. And I don't want, with Scarlett helping to collect eggs and, the kids out there, I decided I didn't want her around anymore. And also, there was one who had an eye issue, so I noticed a while back that she was closing her eyes sometimes, and it looked a bit cloudy and it wasn't getting better, and she was just ended up closing it most of the time. So out of fairness to her, and also just not wanting to have a chicken with an eye issue, she got the chop as well. So we're down to 11 hens now, and Trevor the rooster, which is possibly still too many for us. So I'm going to see how we go with that for a little while. Otherwise, I may anyway get rid of one or two more, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, they will be used for making bone broth, and then the meat gets taken out and used for just cooked shredded chicken meat, which is much nicer than the chicken that we buy from the store. So I do like to be able to use our own chickens when we can, rather than offload them to someone else. And I'm not going to offload ones with problems to other people anyway. Hopefully you're not getting wet. Little bit. It is enforced power cut day today, morning, hopefully just morning. The power company's just turned off the power to our house, so now I have the job of attempting to clean up around the gables of the house where the power lines connect to our house, and there's lichen and things. Been sitting there for rather some years, so I will be doing it by hand with a brush, and I'll just have to see what I can do my best. The main thing is I'm not going to get electrocuted. Of course, not having power, we can't run water either because the pump relies on power. So I just boiled the jug in time, made a hot drink. I've got the jug filled up. I've got another jug filled up with cold water and my glass and drink bottle and things, just in case they take a while to turn the power back on or something. I got some lunch sorted. Took a jar of bean soup out of the freezer last night, so I can heat that up on the stove if the power's still off, because we've got a gas stove, propane stove. And some cornbread. I took some cornbread out of the freezer for my lunch too. So I think I'll be alright. It's just me here this morning, and hopefully it won't take too long, and they won't take too long to come back. For the sake of clarity, do not do this unless your power has been turned off at the road outside your property. So I called the power company 3 days ago because their website says they need 2 days notice for someone to come and turn the power off, and booked it in. So someone came and from the power company and turned the power off at the road. They will not turn it back on until I've called them to say that I've finished, because I can't power the water blaster. We're just doing it the manual way. I've filled up our wheelbarrow with some water to be able to dip the brush in. This is our extendable window brush, which usually hooks into the hose, but we can't do that. Hopefully it will reach high enough. And I've used water from one of our rain barrels off the porch to fill up the wheelbarrow. So these 2 barrels were full of water, so I've got those. We've also got another one of those white or cream rain barrels, 200 litre, I think, 200 or 250 litre, somewhere around there, that comes off the potting shed. And we've also got the garage rain tank that's definitely full. I think that's 10,000 litres, 8,000 litres, something like that, in case they really need masses of water. At least I won't be using our drinking water for this. Even though I know the power's been turned off at the road, it's still kind of disconcerting going up there and poking water at them with a brush. So we'll see how we go. done what I could up there. It's not quite as thorough as I would have liked to have been, but considering I'm reasonably pleased with it. It was slow going because I was trying to be careful around the power lines. It was a bit tricky with all the cords, just trying to reach the brush around with such a long pole. And also it was just tricky to reach all the angles with the brush. But I did what I could, and some of these bits up around, just around the windows and on the end, I can tidy up a bit with the pressure sprayer or the hose carefully. At least it's not as windy as it was earlier in the week when I did the pressure spraying, so that helps. But I think we're ready to turn the power back on now. So I've pressure sprayed more than half the house now. I kind of didn't realise how much algae and just grime there was on some of the bricks, so that's looking heaps better. And then I started working on the porch, which is, well, that's going to be a mission. I've done some of it on this side, but we kind of need to move everything off the deck to be able to get all up under there properly. So that's for another day. I rang the power network about turning the power back on, and she said it will get done this afternoon, but she's not sure when yet, so it could be a few hours, who knows. Anyway, I'm so tired right now. I'm gonna hydrate myself and have some magnesium because my muscles are really feeling it. And I'm gonna heat up my bean soup on the stove. I just need to use a lighter. This is a really handy kind of a lighter to have, something long for lighting the stove. However, we also do have stacks of matches, including some long matches that I've just put into our grab bag and emergency container. It's good to have lots of options for starting fires as one good way to be prepared. So I'm going to get this soup heating up because I am hungry. The power just came back on. It only took 45 minutes, so that's good. Thank you, Well Networks.